Hi everyone, welcome to Tangle Time Arts. My name is Nana Heron and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we are taking a look at our fourth tile in our mosaic for the A Fragment of Your Imagination challenge for this year. And this is for days 13 through 16. Yeah. So we have some challenging tangles to go in our little fragments. And so we are going to work our way through that together. Before we begin, a big shout out to everyone at Seven Forests, Five Rivers, 7F5R Studio for putting this together for us. And you can still get a handout by visiting their website. The information's in the description. If you are looking at it on your computer, you will be able to click on the names of the tangles to get to the step outs too, which is really cool. So they make it as easy as they can for us to follow along. Okay, so the handout looks like this. And we are on days 13, 14, 15, and 16. So day 13 is Nancy by Barbara Duell Johnson. And 14 in our circle here is Ships with a Z by Melanie Marty. And then we have in our triangle, we have Suru. And day 16 is Heart Thou, which we are going to try to fit into our little seed shape. All right, so you will need our basic black pen, #2 pencil, and tortillon. And then you'll need the pre-strung tile #4. And mine does have the #4 on the back because we labeled that when we originally made them. I also have a nickel and a Bijou tile. And if you don't have either of those tiles, you can, in your handout is a practice sheet, and they have the square, triangle, circle, and seed shapes on that for us to practice on. Or you can just use a sketchbook or computer paper. All right, so let's take a look. We are going to start with setting up our Bijou tile so that we can do a little practice. Okay, so for our Bijou, we are just going to, and I'm just going to go straight to the pen. And we are going to set this up by drawing a line down half of it. And then a line the other way as well. I think I'm going to rotate it a little bit this way so that we can fit our nickel into this one. So let's put our squares on this one. And we'll finish off on this one and draw diagonal through that. I'm going to put a seed shape down here. And then I'm going to take my nickel, or if your space is smaller, you could use a dime. And we're going to draw around that. Or you can freehand it. All right. So for our square shape, we have Nancy. And that one starts with a little orb in the center. And then we're going to draw a diagonal through half of it. When you get to your little orb, lift up your pen and keep going to the other corner, and we're going to do the same in the other direction. And then we're going to have fun with this little curl. It's a little bit like print on, but I like to start from the center and come up to the top and then swirl in. I guess you could go the other way, but for me it works best to go from the bottom up into that, and you almost get like a little heart shape there. I'm going to rotate that around, and I am going to do that again. Let me see if I can get better contrast here for you. That's a little better. Okay. And then after that point, I'm going to draw a line through half of it. And then I'm going to cut each of those in half as well. And once we have that, we're going to add a little love to these areas here. And that is basically it for Nancy. We'll do a little shading later, but we're going to take our pre-strung tile now, and we are going to fill in. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 squares, and we're just going to do that 4 times. So I'm going to start on the left because I like working left to right, and I am going to put in a little orb, and then the diagonal each way from corner to corner. And then we're going to go curve into that. And I'm going to do the other way as well. If you need to rotate, you can absolutely do that. Then I'm just going to cut this in half. And then cut each of these triangles in half as well. I'm kind of, to make things look more cohesive, I'm kind of following the previous lines from the other side. And then we'll add a little love to these areas. Sometimes it's a little challenging on the edges here. So we have one done. Now we're going to go do another one. A little orb and our diagonal. Doesn't matter which way you start for your diagonal, but we need them both ways. And then our curve going into the, like a little swirl. And then cut that in half. Now, when I am working on this one, I'm continuing on from kind of matching that up. And then adding a little love or a little weight to the ends there. All right, that's really cute. I'm gonna rotate this and work on our next two. Cut that in half. And then cut those in half. And we just have one more. And then for this one, like we did before, we're kind of matching up with our previous one. And that's it for Nancy. We'll do a little bit of shading, but that's our square fragment. Now we have our circle fragment. And we can take our little sample here. And let's see. How do we want to do this? So for our circle fragment, there's a lot of options here for embellishing with this one. And I'm just going to show you the way that I've kind of chosen, but I'm going to cut the circle in half. And then I'm going to do an X because I want 6 slices of the pie there. And so for ships, we're working with the straight line here. So pick any one of them. And from that top point, we're doing kind of a slight S curve, I guess you could call it. So it's a slight curve. And then I'm just going to loop around here on the top like that. And then I'm going to aura that curve. And this is where you can do different ways of embellishing. We could have totally made this into a flower type of look or done something else with it. Okay, so we've got our little curve there and loop back onto that. And then we're just doing auras. We're just making it as simple as we can. So slight curve, loop around, and aura. like that. And then we have to decide if we're going to ink in any of the areas. So for this example, I'm actually going to ink in this looped area. But you could, if you wanted to, you could ink in this other area over here. So I'm just going to do the other half a little differently so that you can decide how you would like to ink it in. So you could ink in this area here. I like it both ways, so it just depends on what look you like better. Do you like it it's a little darker with this way, and a little more delicate with this way. So you can decide which way you would like to do it on your tile. I'm gonna set that aside for a minute and take our pre-strung mosaic tile. And again, I'm going to cut this in half. So I'm kind of following this line here to be consistent with that. And then just doing 2 more lines so that I have, if this were a pie, this would be 6 slices there. Then I'm just going to pick any triangle to start and do that curve. And then kind of loop around and do our auras. And then I'm just going to work my way around until I've finished all of them. All right, so I think I am just going to do the insides of these little loop areas. It's a hard decision. I could have gone the other way. They both would look fine. All right, so we have our square fragments done and our circle fragment done. Now moving on to our triangle, we have suru. So this is triangles are very small spaces. So we're going to have to really try to fit this in. And I think what I'm going to do is just pick one corner here. And again, it's like very slight S curve, and then a straight line. And then we're going to come in there, almost like a square perta. And then ever so slightly, we're going to aura in that. From this inner corner, we're going to aura that. And then aura that again. And I am going to actually ink in this very inside part, just so that I can have a little bit of drama there. I'm going to rotate this now and do the same in the other triangle. Just because it's a small space and I really cannot fit any more in there. I'm just going to come off to the side there because I think that gives us a little extra space. So I think that works a little better, giving us a tiny bit of extra space instead of coming all the way down. Yeah, this looks better than this one, I think. But either or is fine. Um, so that's Suru, and I can only fit one in each triangle. So we're going to switch to our mosaic tile here. And let's start from here and do our curve up, straight over, and come down. It's very squarish. And then we're going to aura in that very carefully. And then from this inner corner, we're going to come out, and I'm just going to go straight over to the side there. And then do a little aura of that. And then I am going to ink in this very center part. You could do the mirror opposite of that if you would like in this one, but I'm just going to rotate it this way and do the same strokes that we did before. Come over to the side. And then I'm going to ink this in. A very small space, actually. I think for fun, I'll just add a little fescue here. This is something a little extra. And I could also add one down here. that. All right, so we have our triangle done. And now moving on to our seed shape. And if you wanted to add the little fescue to this one too, you could. We'll just go ahead and do that. Keep it consistent. All right, so that brings us to our seed shape, and we have Heart Thou, and this one's by Debbie New. And seed shapes are very small as well. So we're going to try our best here. It's actually like a little fescue shape. And then we're going to do that the other way too. We could aura inside here a little bit. There's not enough room to aura around the entire area, but we could add a little bit of an aura in there. And then it's a heart shape and a little diamond on top. And I am going to actually ink in these shapes. Like that. All right, so we need our mosaic tile, and let me pick a larger one to start with. So probably this one. And we're going to start with those little fescue shapes. I'm going to aura in there and ink that in. Add a little aura on each of those sides. A little heart shape. And a little diamond shape for heart though. All right, I'm going to rotate a little and then do another one. You do have to work very small for this. So just take your time. It is a challenge. Um, all right, so that's how it looks. It's very delicate looking, especially with three together like that. Then it starts creating its own pattern here. And we'll repeat that with these three. And we just have one more. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge because it's very tiny. But it's doable. Just take your time. Okay, so we have that all inked in. Now we can do a little bit of shading. So we can take a look at our Bijou tile first of all and come over here with our square fragment. I'm just going to add a little shading to the center area and maybe a little bit across the top and the bottom here, like that. And then for our circle fragment in the center, and then along the outer edge here. For our triangle fragment, I think I'm just going to come in on these corners actually and add a little shading. And then for the seed shape along the edges on both sides. The tortillon and just kind of blend that out. So not a lot of shading because there was a lot of detail work with all of these. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. And we're going to switch to our mosaic tile here. And we just ran a little bit along the top here and the bottom. My pencil probably needs to be sharpened a little bit. So I'll do that before the next demo. This one kind of reminds me of a butterfly for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it just kind of does. In our circle fragment here, put some in the center and then around the edge of the circle. And then with our triangles, just in the corners that did not really get any ink. And then our seed fragments. All right, we can take our tortillon. And we're working with our square fragments first. It's really minimal shading with this tile, but a lot of detail work. All right. And that actually, that does it for our third tile there. And we are going to fill out the back. Let's see. All right, so this is our fourth tile. Put my name on it. So this is a fragment of your imagination. (2025), and this is days 13 through 16, I believe. Yep. And we had so we have day 13, which was let me get my notes here. Where did they go? Sorry. Okay, so we had Nancy. I should have remembered that because I have a friend, Nancy, and that was our square. And our 14 is ships with a Z in our circle. And 15 is Suru in our triangle. And 16 is heart, though, in the seed shape. All right. And it's number 4. And that's how number 4 looks. And let's see if I have my other tiles handy. All right, so this is number 4. This was the first one. And then this was our second one. And we have our third one and our fourth one. And you can mix and match these up together. And let me zoom out there so you can see how they look. So we have now all 4 together in actually a completed set of 4. And they look really cool. And what I'm going to do is take a little washi tape and tape them back together on the back. And then what I like to do is make a photocopy. And then I'm going to practice with how I want to finish it around the outside. And also I like to practice with colors so that I'm practicing on the photocopy and not on the actual tiles. So if you'd like to do that as well, tape them together and make photocopies. And you could play around with some embellishments as well and colors. And I will come back with demos to finish tiles 1 through 4 and also 5 through 8. And so that's something you can play around with before I film that. And you might want to actually finish with your own embellishment, or you can wait and we can do that together. All right, so we've got one set done, and then we'll be starting on our next set in a few days. How cool is that? It looks really cool. And I can't wait to add color. Yay. And I think I have definitely some embellishment that I want to add to that, and maybe some more shading too. All right. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so excited to have this first set finished and looking forward to the second set. Have a great week, and I'll see you in a few days. All right. You guys are doing an amazing job, and thank you so much for joining me on this journey of learning about fragments and reticula. Take care. Love you guys. Bye.